Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audio fiction. Hi, I'm Dawn and this is part of the series First Kiss, written by Jheqia. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Make sure you smash that like button, comment down below what you're thinking is happening and what's going to come, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes and other things that are happening during Fusion November. So, chapter 2, I hope you enjoy. Chapter 2, The Centre of a Romance. Marinette went to school the next day full of trepidation and nervous terror. When Cat Noir set his mind to something, he always followed through. That was one of the many reasons why he was such a superb partner, but he could equally rush headlong into situations without thinking things through. If Adrian gets hurt out of this, then I will skin that cat, she thought, gritting her teeth. Knowing Cat's flair for the dramatics, she had no idea how he was going to set about getting Adrian to think of her as more than a friend, let alone fall in love with her. It worried her no end, but if it got Adrian to notice her as more than a friend? I should never have agreed to this stupid bet. Tiki had laughed herself silly over the predicament and said that Marinette had gotten herself into this mess and she could get herself out of it. But Cat had looked so convincing and smug that she had to take him down a peg, even at the cost of her heart. After all, she had plenty of experience with her own ineptitudes and Adrian's innocent blindness. Well, if she ended up heartbroken out of this deal, Tiki would change her tune and comfort her chosen. I hope. She met up with Ali and Nino on the school steps as Adrian's car pulled up. He got out of the car and waved to them. Marinette could already feel the blush rising in her cheeks as if her face was filling up with boiling water. "Girl, are you sick or something?" Alia asked. "Even you don't blush that red over you-know-who." "Just a bit more nervous than usual today," she murmured, as Adrian came up the steps to them. "Why?" Alia led her a few steps away and lowered her voice so the boys couldn't hear. Marinette sighed. "A friend of mine found out about my crush on Adrian and said he was going to make him fall for me in the next 2 weeks." "Really?" Alia drawled, her eyes wide with interest and curiosity. "Which friend, and how does he plan to steal Sunshine Boy's heart for you?" "That's the problem," Marinette whispered. "I have no idea. I made him promise not to force Adrian or hurt his reputation, so blackmail and brute force are out. But aside from that, I don't know what he'll do, and it makes me a nervous wreck." Alia patted her on the back in a soothing sort of way, but her grin was wide with satisfaction. "Well, if your friend can succeed, then I'll be happy for you, of course, but you can't expect me not to sit back and enjoy the fireworks." Marinette glared at her friend. "I'm glad my potential love life is a sort of amusement for someone." "Oh, come on, Marinette. You know Adrian has this blind spot for some reason. You think a perfect stranger to him is going to be able to do better than me?" She pointed her thumb proudly at her chest. She knew it was a source of frustration to Alia that her matchmaking skills had failed so terribly, even if it was the fault of Marinette's own inability to talk straight to Adrian most of the time. "Do better than you at what?" asked a familiar voice. Marinette felt herself go rigid and plastered a nervous grin on her face, shooting a look at Alia that said, "Don't you dare!" in 2-foot-high letters. Hi, Adrian," she stammered. "Ali was just saying that no one could do better than job at the school blog." Oh, Ginger snaps. She was even worse than usual today. Adrian glanced at her with a look of concern. "Are you alright? Are you okay, Marinette? You look kind of nervous." Alia smoothly turned her away. She just found out that a friend of hers is trying to set her up with a guy. Probably just blind date nerves. You know what I mean. Yeah, totally. Like that time we went to the zoo and Ladybug locked us in the pant enclosure with all the animals escaped. Talk about nerves, Nino said, putting his arm around Alia. But I thought Marinette had a crew. Both Marinette and Adrian winced as Alia grabbed Nino hard around the waist and started dragging him up the stairs. Gotta chat with my guy. Catch you in class, she called as they disappeared up the steps. What was that about? Adrian asked. I don't know anymore, Marinette groaned, facing her hands so not to look at him. He gently took her hands in his and pulled them away from her face. The tingle his touch produced was intimate and overwhelming. It'll be fine, Marinette. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. Or if you're worried, you could ask a double date with Nino and Alia. He patted her on the shoulder. Are you gonna be okay? Yeah, she sighed. She let herself go all gooey inside at his smile. Marinette fought the impulse and barely won, but she was sure she had a goofy grin on her face for just a moment. They walked into class together without another word between them, though her heart did a few flips when he held the door open for her. Inside, the entire class was gathered around Marinette's seat, talking adamantly. For an instant, she thought Chloe had pulled another prank on her desk, but when Alia saw her, she shooed the others away and she understood. A bouquet of flowers stood in a vase at her seat. A dozen pink and white roses with trailing strands of dark green ivy. It was clear it was professionally done and most likely very expensive. She felt a strange squirm inside her chest, knowing this had to be the first move in Cat Noir's plan, but the flowers were beautiful. As she approached her desk, she noticed a black envelope sealed the old-fashioned way with a red wax stamp. Setting down her bag, she popped the wax seal and took out the black card inside. Aware of Alia and the other girls leaning over her, she read the few lines of beautiful calligraphy in silver ink. To my princess. Since some targets I must show for Cupid's cruel dart. Oh, if mine own you dare to keep, then give me your sweetheart. Love, C.N. There was a collective happy sigh from all around her, and Marinette realized that all the girls had their hands clasped together in romantic delight. She blushed at those words. If this hadn't been some whim of Cat Noir's feline fancy, she might have been swayed by them. As it was, she had to sternly tell her heart not to bang around so much in her chest. She stuffed the card into her bag and took a few deep breaths to calm herself, while the girls chatted around her about their secret admirer. Miss Bustier came in as the bell rang for the start of classes. She cast a glance at the flowers on Marinette's desk. Those are lovely, Marinette, but would you mind taking them downstairs and putting them in your locker, please? Of course, Marinette said, taking up the large arrangement. Adrian stood from his seat and held the door open for her. Looks like this guy isn't wasting any time, he whispered as she passed. Oh, you have no idea, she thought with resignation. Girl, those flowers? Alia squealed as she sat down to have lunch outside. You have to admit it. That was a classy first move. Who's CN? Come on, Alia. It's just my friend playing games to get Adrian to pay attention to me. Wait, games? Over-the-top gesture? Black and silver card? The letters CN? She grasped. Girl, are you getting punked by Cat Noir? Marinette covered her friend's mouth with her hand. Shh! That means yes. I knew it. So how did you two meet? She sighed. Maybe she just told Alia the truth. She would keep it to herself. Okay. It is because of a bet. But none of this goes on the Ladybug. Promise me, Alia. Only 'cause it's you. I won't post about it, but I need details now. So Marinette told her how she and Cat Noir had first started spending time together. How he sometimes got lonely and just wanted simple, friendly company, and they had developed a friendship. How a movie night had turned into a discussion of first kisses, and how he had asked who she would want to kiss as her first choice. I told him Adrian Agress. Alia, I must have lost my mind to have admitted that to him. Don't worry about it, Marinette. He's a superhero. They're like genetically bred to keep secrets. He promised not to tell anyone. Besides, having Cat Noir as your wingman? Maybe you'll get that kiss after all. Yeah, if he doesn't make a spectacle of me first. Which is exactly what Cat Noir did. Every day for the rest of the week, there was some very public display of admiration and affection set up for her at school. The flowers and the letters taped to her locker or left sitting on her desk weren't too bad, nor the box of her favourite chocolates that had been left in her locker with a red heart-shaped balloon tied to them. But when she arrived at the school on Friday to see a banner that stretched the width of the school courtyard with the words, "Marinette, will you go out with me?" in red letters, she nearly fainted from embarrassment. The girls were all in a state of giddy excitement except for Chloe, who took every opportunity to badmouth Marinette and her mysterious boyfriend. The boys in the class, however, were getting a bit nervous. Nina said it was because her secret admirer was showing them all up in front of their girlfriends, and they were going to have to up their game to compete. Adrian had seemed to enjoy the attention she was getting at first, smiling happily when she got presents, but the day the banner appeared and she arrived in class to find a flat velvet box sitting at a desk, she saw his smile turn into a slight frown, and he watched attentively as she took the box in her hands. The girls all clustered behind her as she opened the box, waiting for the daily installment of this romance. Inside was a gold locket on a chain with the words, "Forever yours," engraved on the front, and a small black card that read, "Meet me on the steps after school, princess. Love, CN." Several of the girls squealed, and Chloe started muttering. Marinette found herself torn. "Oh, Cat, what are you doing?" She knew this was just a prank to him, but all the attention was hard on her heart. It was so nice to be showered with gifts and treated like a princess in front of everyone. She didn't need all these things, but she had to admit, even just to herself, that every new present set her heart thumping and a blush to spread across her cheeks. This isn't real. It's just a prank on his part, to get Adrian to realize I could be more than a friend. Nothing more. Still, she smiled at the locket and clasped it around her neck. As she looked up to see Miss Bussier come into the room for the start of class, she caught Adrian staring at her. He looked from her face to the locket around her neck and back at her face again, as if he was trying to read her thoughts. That slight narrowing of the eyes was unusual for him. She looked away, shoving the jewelry box into her bag, reigniting the blush burning in her cheeks. From under her lashes, she saw him blush as well and turn round hurriedly. Maybe, just maybe, Cat's plan was working after all. Thank you for listening to First Kiss, Chapter 2, written by Jheqia. I hope you give her a massive shout out and love, and her information's in the description below. Give this video a massive smash and like, and comment down below what you think of it and what's going to happen next. And subscribe if you haven't already, because there's lots more parts to come and other videos during Fusion November. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.